Welcome guys to another video from Data Solve. My name is Christian Lofts, and in today's video we are going to be diving deep into the costing to building a data warehouse for on-premise versus cloud. So if you stick around for this video, we're going to be diving into two use cases, one for a private business and one for an enterprise model. With that said, I hope you have your coffee, your tea, or preferred beverage of choice as we dive into today's video. I want to preface this video with saying that these are going to be crude estimations. I could be missing nuanced information, so I apologize in advance if I am missing that information. If you believe I am missing information, please provide that in the comments below. I'm always interested to hear from engineers what their perspective of the cloud and the costing model is. I'm going to give you a use case. Let's say we're working with a retail store called Hutchinson & Co. I used Hutchinson & Co. in my previous video where I built an ETL pipeline. You can see that if you click on the card up in the above. But effectively, this company has a revenue of, let's say, 10 million per year. They have 100 employees. They have a need for BI and data analytics. Obviously not at the enterprise level. That's the key distinction to make, because this will significantly change our estimation. So where do we begin in this cost estimation for this data warehouse? So it's critical to ask, what is the data storage? I know that, storage is cheap in the cloud, but let's start at that point and we'll build from there. So let's say their gross profit is 10 million. Let's say their average product price is 100. So the number of transactions would be 10 million divided by 100, equaling to 100,000 transactions per year. So we can say that their fact table will be having 100,000 transactions per year. So now we've estimated the fact table, how many transactions there would be. So let's also estimate the product data. So let's say the private business has 10,000 unique products. So you would have a table, product ID, name, description, price, category, and an image. And let's say it equates to 1.91 gigabytes. So then we have to take into account customer data comprising of customer ID, name, email, address, purchase history. Let's say it equates to 58.86 megabytes. Multimedia data, which includes product images and videos. So let's say that equates to 5 gigabytes. Total storage for 1 year, let's approximate it at 6.86 gigabytes. Let's make it 10 gigabytes of data that this company needs. Plus they need a backup as well. So they're going to need 10. So they're going to need at least 20 gigabytes. They're going to need at least 20 gigabytes of data. Okay, so these would be the hardware costing for such a data model. So this, as we can see here, we would need the server, the processor, the RAM, the storage. We wouldn't need a super efficient machine for that matter, for lack of a better word. And we would be using PostgreSQL just to save on costs, and we would be developing all our ETL pipelines in-house. Obviously, it would take a lot longer to develop these ETL pipelines, but the savings would be more significant. So ChatGPT has provided 2650 for the initial setup cost of the hardware. Let's bump it up to 5,000, provide a buffer, and then let's provide a calculation for over 20 years. Would be the initial setup cost plus annual maintenance cost for 20 years. So it'd be 5,000 plus 15,000. So the total cost over 20 years for this on-prem solution would be 20,000. And we could build a data warehouse for that amount of money on premise. Now, let's jump into the cloud. I like to use Google Cloud Pricing. They may or may not be the cheapest, I don't know, but I just like the interface just for this example. So we're not going to be using BigQuery because I don't believe we need that power yet. So we're going to be using Cloud SQL. Now, this is a MySQL database. So right off the bat, we can see here that it's 115 with all the default options. We're going to try and match the hardware. So we're matching a 32 gigabyte processor, 3.04 cores. So we need something with 4 cores. Let's switch out to 4 cores and 26. So this cloud machine may not be as effective as the on-premise. It doesn't matter because we can always scale up. So this is the costing per month, 270.46. So let's bump it up to, just for good sake, let's bump it up to 350. And so let's find out what the break-even costs are. So if my cloud model is costing me 350, So as you can see here, after the crude calculations, cloud model after 1 year, on-premise is more expensive after 1 year. So the cloud model would be 4.2. We can see here that the on-premise is cheaper after 2 years. Now, mind you, this is only for 10 gigabytes. This is for a very, as I said, a private business. I'm trying to match like for like the processing power in the cloud. I could be missing some nuanced information, but this is a crude representation of cloud versus on-prem for a private business. So on-premise is significantly cheaper after 5 years. There are bigger fish to fry, and if we are trying to fry a bigger fish, go into an enterprise model. Now you may be asking, what is an enterprise? What constitutes an enterprise? So effectively, an enterprise is an organization with an annual revenue surpassing 50 million, multiple locations worldwide, and an average of 500 or more employees. Now this is where the costing model would probably be more beneficial for cloud. So let's dive into that and let's kind of understand why that is. So let's say, I don't know, let's say the company needs 100 terabytes of storage, and they're making 100 million per year. Let's keep it round numbers. And they have 1,000 employees cross-site. What type of hardware are we talking about here? So as you can see here, the costing for an enterprise level drastically increases for 20-year period. So total cost over 20 years. So we can see the server, we need 10 high performance servers. The costing would be, to maintain this equipment would be 7.2 million. So using Google BigQuery, we can see here that over 20 years, Google BigQuery solution is significantly more cost effective. And yeah, so in conclusion here, we can see that enterprise level data warehouses are more cost efficient to be used on the cloud. But when we're dealing with private businesses, there may be a use case for on-premise equipment. So there's no one-size-fits-all solution, but this has just kind of been a video to break open all the stereotypes of cloud costings. Guys, if you have any comments or feedback, I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking at the moment about costing models. And that's basically it, guys. Hope you enjoy the video. Thank you.